Well, can I give you a very big welcome to you, Yongey Mingyur Rinpoche. Thank you very, very much for coming and giving us this talk. We're here in London at the Buddhist Society, and you're there in Kathmandu in Nepal. And there are many people here, of course, who don't know very much about the Society. The Society is the oldest established Buddhist organization probably in Europe, or almost the oldest one. Certainly the oldest one in the UK. We started in 1924. This organization was the first place that His Holiness became a patron of, and that's when he was still in Tibet, because we felt it might help him have some contact with the West, and we teach all schools of Buddhism. But today it's a great honor and great pleasure to welcome Yongey Mingyur Rinpoche, who's coming to give us a talk on probably the most important of all the teachings, the Noble Eightfold Path. And I should say that the Rinpoche has given talks all over the world. He has a very large following. In particular, there is the Turgar meditation community. So those of you who are interested can look that up and hopefully be able to join that and follow his teachings. I should say that he's written a very large number of books, and I'll just mention the ones that I have in front of me. The Joy of Living, Unlocking the Secret and Science of Happiness, which was following a conference in New York. Turning Confusion into Clarity, a guide to the foundation practices of Tibetan Buddhism. Joyful Wisdom, Embracing Change and Finding Freedom. And then there's a really important thing, because there's a great shortage of this, an illustrated children's book entitled Ziji, The Puppy That Learned to Meditate. For those of you with children, buy the book. But the latest book, and it's been, a friend has just told me there's a wonderful book, very moving and touching, and really enjoyed reading it, In Love with the World. Now, that book is available online. You can buy it. We will review it. You can even get it from us at the Society if you want to. But without any more ado, without taking up any more time, I will hand over to Rinpoche and the Noble Eightfold Path. Now, there will be a chat line at the bottom. Questions, please type them in nice and early so we can ask those questions after 45 minutes. Thank you so much, Rinpoche. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Welcome, everyone, and very happy to present about the Eight Noble Path with the Buddhist Society. So, in general, the essence of the Buddha's teaching, sometimes what we call 84,000 different teachings of Buddha. And there are so many teachings Buddha taught. But all these teachings, when we summarize the teaching of the Buddha, so it can belong to Eight Noble Path. So Eight Noble Path is very important at the beginning when you first time to enter the path, enter the Dharma. Also very important in the middle, very important in the end. So this is very important. And also what we call Buddha taught three big teachings. The first Four Noble Truth. Then Buddha taught about the second big teaching is compassion and emptiness, and emphasize about bodhicitta. And the last various part of the teaching, which is Buddha taught about the Buddha nature. So based on that, we have different yanas. And all these different traditions, different yana, everybody have this Eight Noble Path. So Eight Noble Path is the common practice of all the followers of the Buddha. So now, what are the Eight Noble Paths? Normally there are three things that what we call threefold training: ethic, meditation, and the wisdom. So the first, within the Eightfold Noble Path, the first is about the right view. So right view is about the wisdom. And this special right view talk about the beginning of the Eight Noble Path. And of course, Eight Noble Path, sometimes symbolic as a wheel, a circle, which goes first. Actually, it doesn't matter. Normally, what we call, there are three three personalities. Especially in Tibetan Buddhism, we focus about the personality and mentality. So body personality, speech personality, mind personality, so different personalities. And based on that, sometimes you can begin through action. If the body personality, you have to start through the action. Or speech personality, you need to start with the conceptual level, intellectual level. And the mind personality, you have to meditate to get the experiential on the connected with feeling and the emotional level. So different level, which one you start, it doesn't matter. So now the first Eight Noble Path is the right view. Right view is to understand what is the nature of ourself, nature of phenomena, and that is the wisdom. So Buddha said, maybe first important, in general, wisdom is quite important, because once you have wrong view, not knowing the nature of reality, what you believe is not correct, then action might be wrong. And your life, your meditation could be wrong. So therefore, in general, right view at the beginning is very important. So traditional example is, if you count the day 1 as day 2, then you will mistake until the day 30. So therefore, the first step is right view. So what is the right view? To understand the Four Noble Truths. So first important is we have to understand what is the suffering. So essence of suffering is what we call dissatisfaction, dukkha. Dukkha meaning not satisfied. Normally, dissatisfaction is feeling-wise kind of neutral and kind of like never satisfying. Sometimes, my teachers give example like, it is like bottomless bag. So if you have bag without bottom, whatever you put inside cannot fill in. So that is the essence of suffering, dukkha. And then there is, and that feeling normally kind of like neutral. Then there's another true suffering, what we call suffering of change and suffering of suffering. Suffering of change actually pleasant, look like happiness, but happiness with the grasping, attachment. So when we have the suffering of change, at the beginning feel very good, but then there's a downhill. So when there's up and there's a down, right? And suffering of suffering is pain. problems. Now we are having suffering around the world because of pandemic. Sickness, obstacle to your life, lost job, financial problem, emotional problem, all these are suffering of suffering. But the base of these two, suffering of change, the feeling is happiness, suffering of suffering, feeling is suffering, not happy. But the base of these two is pervasive suffering, what we call. And that pervasive suffering is very subtle. And that is the bottomless bag. Cannot, never satisfy. Sometime, or not sometime, most of the time we are not aware of that suffering. We know special suffering of suffering, isn't it? Problem comes, when I was young, I had panic attacks. Big suffering. And nowadays we have anxiety around the world. And in this generation, we have a lot of depression, loss of esteem, a relationship problem, family problem. All these are easy to know. But then when we have suffering of change, then the grasping comes. And then if our mind more grasp on that suffering of change, which is look like pleasant, then it will drop down. But when Buddha was young, the early age, Buddha recognized the suffering of suffering. Pervasive suffering, the fundamental level. So Buddha has questioned, what is life? What is the meaning of life? Where all this come from? Although Buddha has wonderful, life. Buddha has nice father and mommy, the stepmother, and also nice kingdom, luxury life, but never satisfied. Still feels like something is missing. So the deeper level, there's feeling of insecurity, feeling of little bit lonely, feeling of dissatisfaction, insecure, unsafe, something like that. That is the underlying, kind of hollow, the deeper level. And most of the time we are not recognized. And this feeling is cause for gross level of suffering. Try to feed, because underlying there's something is missing, And no matter how you feed, maybe power, money, fame, coffee, Maybe you drink coffee good for 20 minutes, but again, back to baseline. I have this a lot of discussion with the science since 2002. So at the beginning, what they call baseline. Everybody has some kind of baseline, and many neuroscience, psychology, they said, at the beginning they say it cannot change. If you're born with unhappy, no hope. Rest of your life will be unhappy. Money doesn't help much. Fame doesn't help much. Power doesn't help much. Maybe if you win the lottery, you will be happy for 2 years. General. And back to the baseline. Even worse sometimes. So, but now what scientists said actually can change. Our brain is changing all the time. What they call neuroplasticity, neuro pathways, and especially now what they call neurogenesis. So even gene expression can change. So there's hope. Even we are born with unhappy, we can change. So brain is changing all the time. Actually, we are changing all the time. Everything is impermanence, what Buddha mentioned. But how we can change? So if we practice Eightfold Noble Path, special wisdom, meditation, try to change our mind, then we can change to the right direction, that what we want to change. But normally we are changing, but we are changing by forces. First from the situational, first from the environment, first from your friends, family. So many different forces that changing you every day. You don't know how to change by yourself. But through the meditation, through this wisdom meditation practice, we can change with consciously. So back to Buddha's life story. So Buddha have everything, and the Buddha's father, king, really want to give entire kingdom to him. Buddha get married. Everything is really wonderful, but still something missing. He feel like something missing. In the end, he left his kingdom and look for this answer. Went to many parts of India and met many great teachers during those days, great meditation teachers, and he learned everything. And Buddha is a genius, Sometimes few sessions Buddha understood everything, sometimes even become better than teacher. So studied very well, but still something missing. Cannot satisfy. Now Buddha thought, okay, I have to do practice concentration. And Buddha went to river Nerajam, meditate for 6 years, samadhi, different level of samadhi. And Buddha did all the different 9 or 8 different level of jhanas, everything, but still not satisfied. Then in the end, Buddha let go of everything. Let it be as it is. When Buddha let go, something is coming together now. Something is sense. So then Buddha went to Bodh Gaya. So the main teaching is, let it be as it is. Then actually, we don't need to do anything. The main important teaching is, be as it is. We are perfect. We have, our true nature is wonderful. The nature of phenomena are emptiness. Emptiness union with clarity. Whether Buddha teach or not, it doesn't matter. Whether you recognize or not, it doesn't matter. It's always there. So then Buddha just recognized that, then achieve enlightenment. So then Buddha thought, wow, this is wonderful. And so we have this phrase, Sabshitotal Vusal Dumachi, Duzutabu, Chushi Koini, Sulatenjan, Kowar Mingyur, Mimanandap never. Understand? This is in Tibetan. So the meaning is, wow, kind of like, this is a profound, peaceful, beyond concept, luminosity, uncontrived. Just like nectar, I found this Dharma. But if I teach to others, no one will understand. Therefore, I will stay in the forest with silence. Then there's Brahma, Indra asked Buddha to teach, and Buddha accept. Then Buddha went to Varanasi, begin to teach Dharma. So first is Four Noble Truth, and step by step Buddha taught what Buddha realized. Eventually, Buddha teach everything. Okay, so now what Buddha discovered is the cessation, nirvana. So nirvana, when we practice, try to recognize who you are nature of yourself and nature of phenomena, and that wisdom will lead you to remove the causes of suffering. So what is the cause of suffering? First is ignorance. So not knowing the nature of yourself and nature of phenomena. And based on ignorance, there are two things: aversion and craving. And this aversion and craving, together with the ignorance, then we accumulate habit, the habitual tendency, and that is the karma. And when the habitual tendency grows, then we are experiencing suffering. And through that suffering, again, not knowing the nature of suffering, not knowing the suffering also at the beginning, then we create aversion and craving. So it's become like circle, loop, like dog chasing tail, go round and round, 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 round. So that is what we call samsara. So how to break the samsara? The right view to understand the nature of ourselves. So right now we are in samsara, so right now we have a lot of suffering, isn't it? So maybe I will ask all of you, anybody who understand, who experience that there's something missing, or always looking something more, or kind of like there's a little bit of hollow, deeper level, insecurity, or unsafe. So if anybody experience that, raise your hand. So you can raise hand by physically or on the Zoom link also. Okay, so I think I can see many of your face here. Okay, very good. So now all of you are same as Buddha. To recognize that is very important actually. So actually now here we are in the modern time. Our life is we are living with the quite luxury life, just like Buddha living in the palace. But if you all kind of understand that, the feeling, that's good. So now the suffering, thank you. Now you can let go of your hand. So suffering is the three feelings actually. Suffering is the feeling. Feeling of happiness with the grasping, feeling of not happy with the pain or discomfort, and the fundamental not satisfying. This three feeling is suffering. Then the cause of these suffering is what we call the second noble truth, the truth of cause of suffering, which is based on ignorance, and then there's a craving and aversion. And now number 3 is the liberation, nirvana, freedom. So Buddha taught at the beginning bad news, The first teaching of Buddha said, because life is suffering. Depressing, right? But actually, knowing suffering is the way of liberation from suffering. Accepting suffering, being with the suffering is the beginning of the liberation actually. If we not know the suffering as suffering, then actually suffering is become more severe. Then we cannot find way out. If we cannot accept that, then we cannot free of that. But the next what Buddha said is, actually you can free the suffering. Nirvana, freedom, liberation, actually there with us. And how to achieve that liberation? Path. So the path begins by shamatha meditation, which is I will explain a little bit later, which is concentration. Then vipassana, which is here now talking about the view, the wisdom. Okay, so now finish the first noble truth, noble path. Now second noble path. So second, third, fourth, fifth, all these four connected with the discipline, the ethic. So for discipline or ethic, there are three things. First, three things important: your mind, your speech, and your action, your body. So mind, speech, body. For the mind, what Buddha said, right thought or right motivation. So second noble truth is the right motivation or right thought. And that is the intention. Sometime what we call volition. Whatever you make karma, the essence of karma is actually your own mind. Sometimes what we call mental factor. We have many different types of the mind. So one mind called volition or the motivation or intention. So that is the essence of karma, and through that thought, the wrong thought, we will make negative karma. Right thought, right intention, we will create positive karma. So right thought here meaning the thought of not harm to others. So actually, according to three big teachings, the first teaching Buddha said, don't harm others. Non-violence. And non-violence is the basis of entire Buddha's teaching. And then second big teaching, Buddha went to Vulture Peak Mountain, and Buddha teach about bodhicitta. So in the bodhicitta, Buddha said, help others. Loving kindness, compassion, bodhicitta. Of course, non-violent is the basis, very important. And plus that, you can try your best to help others. So that is become the essence of teaching of what we call great jnana. So there's a foundational jnana, the early Buddhist teaching based on the Four Noble Truths, the first teaching. So main important for that is don't harm to others, non-violence. The motivation has to be non-violence. And then renunciation. And second teaching, Buddha taught about the bodhicitta and emptiness, and for the bodhicitta, help others. So loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta. So that is the right thought. So right thought is wanting to help others, or if you cannot help directly to others, whatever you want to, the motivation to do that will cause to help others, become cause to help others. So helping others or become causes to help others. So that is the right motivation. And that is also, normally people ask me, what is the virtue, what is the not virtue? Many people confuse, I want to do something, whatever I do in life, even look like good, but then there's some side effect comes. Or look like I'm doing a little bit bad, but maybe that may help for the society and for the long term is a benefit. So which one should I cannot judge myself. which one is virtue, which one is not virtue, what is the exact measurement or limitation, something like that. So normally I said, just by action, we cannot really find. The most important is the right thought, the motivation. So if your motivation is right, and then whatever action also become right. So what is the right motivation? First, according to first teaching, non-violence. So if you cannot help others, then non-violence. Don't harm to others. That's okay. Easy, no? But then second right motivation is, according to second teaching, try to help as much as you can. Then last various teaching, what Buddha taught about the transforming the mind. So the right motivation is to really transform your mind and mind of all beings, because everybody has the pure nature. The nature of all of us is wonderful. The Buddha nature, enlightened nature, sometimes what we call pure perception. The nature of all the beings are wonderful. And you have to look at that perspective. Everybody has awareness, love and compassion, wisdom, skills, capacity. And we all are unique by ourselves. You, me. And it doesn't matter who they are. Although we all did mistakes, problems, all this, ignorance, aversion, craving, what we call obscuration. And our true nature is like diamond. If the diamond covered by mud, the mud is not the diamond. So mud represents ignorance, aversion, craving. Can be purified. So what is a diamond? That's the Buddha nature, our true nature. So awareness, love and compassion, wisdom is the diamond. So, and to see this perspective, to try to communicate with the other beings through that level, and through that which way to help to awaken that to nature. So that is the third right view. Third right thought, the intention. So according to that, we have what we call Vajrayana. So these different yanas depend on which one is better. All of them are wonderful. And which one to help you, that is the best. There's no such thing as this is better than that. Important is according to mentality, according to personality, according to whether you have connection or not. So equally benefit according to our own personality and mentality. So this right thought is very important. So first we have the right view. What is the right view? Suffering and causes of suffering. This is why I'm here. Everything's, I have one friend. And my friend is, when he was young, he's not happy. When he look around, and he feel like everybody is happy. Only me is not happy. And he thought, why? Because I'm not reach 18 years old. If I become 18 years old, I will be happy, because now I'm, I don't have freedom, and my education not finished. My parents are too controlling me, and a lot of those things. And he's waiting to become 18 years old. He became 18 years old one day. So happy at the beginning. Went to the restaurant and called his friend and did celebration. Very happy. Come back home. Quite happy that night. And next morning, not so happy. Still something missing. Somewhere around the stomach there's hollow, empty. He thought, why? I haven't got job yet. If I have job, I will be happy. And he looked for job, he got job, good job. He thought he will be very happy. But after a few weeks later, same thing. Then he thought, I don't have promotion. And actually he got promotion, still not happy, but he look around, looks like everybody's happy. I'm having this problem, but they are okay, you know. My problem is the biggest one in the world. And in the end, he becomes CEO of big company, moved into New York. He has office in the New York, around 40 somewhere floor, can see Central Park. And one day he was smoking, opened the window, looking at Central Park, and thinking about why I'm still not happy. And suddenly somebody knocked the door. And he opened the door, and the board of the director said, "Thank you very much, you're serving our company for 65 years, now you can have retirement." Oh, retirement? But I still never find my answer. So then he thought, okay, I will look different way, alternative solution. So went to the bookshop and picked up one book, and that book is about the Four Noble Truths. And I opened the book, and the beginning of the book said, "Life is suffering." Huh? Really? He feels relief. Life is suffering. Okay. Not only me suffer here. Everybody else is same. So in that moment, he feels a little bit this warm feeling of some kind of like, little bit satisfaction comes. So therefore, this is really important to accept. So then it's not the bad news only. There's a good news. We can free the liberation. And we have the path. So path is knowing all these things. Shamatha, Vipassana, all this practice. So once we have that, then second, the intention. Whatever we do, the mind is the right intention, right motivation. So now with the speech, right speech. So right speech is the verbal things, which is be honest. So according to the first teaching, don't harm others. Whatever speech, non-violence. And with the second and the third teaching, Buddha's teaching, is try to help others. Try to, especially with the last teaching, communicate with others. Level of understanding, they have this wonderful nature. Nowadays we translate as basic innate goodness. Everybody has this basic innate goodness. From that level, you need to give speech. You need to connect with others. You know, sometimes scientists said, if we have 10 qualities with us, 1 negative, 9 positive. But normally what we see is only 1 negative one. We ignore 9 positive. And not just ignore, then we exaggerate 1 negative one and we discuss about that and talk about that negative. Then what happened? Everything is negative. All the conversation become negative. Then wherever you see, everything has become negative. But if we communicate the positive aspect and talk about that, then what happens? We will connect to our own, the potential, the positive qualities within ourselves. So then the goodwill spiral go up and up. So therefore this is very important with the speech. And the bodily action. So the first intention, and that intention brings action with the speech and the body. So the first, according to first teaching of Buddha, don't harm. So whatever non-violence action. And according to second teaching, help others. Action which is connect to help others. And the last teaching, same thing. The action connect with others, that they kind of like respect, value, and appreciation of true nature. Based on that, develop your actions also. So, right thought with the mind, right speech with the body, right action with the, right speech with the speech, and the right action with the body. 3. Mind, speech, and the body. Then all this comes together, then what happens? Right livelihood. So this is the 5th Noble Path. So right livelihood meaning whatever we do in our life. Maybe you look for job, maybe the style of your life is connected with right thought, right speech, right action. So that has become your lifestyle. So it's very important that when you look for job, don't look for job as drug dealers, making guns, doing all the illegal things. But of course, we cannot find always perfect lifestyle. Anything what we do, sometimes there's side effects. But the very important is intention first. This is very important. Then, like normally I'm telling this example. One time I went to America, and there's a mountain, big mountain, Rocky Mountains. I want to hike the mountain. And all my friends said, oh, mountain is very steep, dangerous. You have to have gears, boot, sticks, bags, socks. I was grew up in Himalayan mountain in Nepal. So sometimes we hike mountain with the slippers. We don't use even shoes. I thought, wow, now American mountain is very dangerous. It's worse than my mountain in my hometown. So, and they all took me into the special shop. The gear in the shop can buy gear. So I went to one shop, and there's a salesperson, so very talkative, blah, 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 and try to sell me all different things. So I don't really like, and I went to the next one. Next one is quite honest, but the very good intention, really want to help me. Ask me a question that what suits to me and what really want to help me. And I told him about all my plans. And this person recommended all this. I bought many of these. I feel quite happy. This person good. Actually, I bought more. So next morning I went hike. But actually, Rocky Mountain is not so difficult. It's much better than my hometown. And when I come back, the what hurts me is the shoes, the boot. So anyway, it doesn't matter if you become salesperson, or if you become the manager, if you become the architecture, or if you become the lawyer, whatever. So right intention and the right speech, right action, try your best to work with that. Then whatever you do, it is a benefit for others. Benefit for you, what we call win-win situation. Everybody wins. So that's the life, right livelihood. So ta, to, nga, tang, ta, choa. Now there's two things. Soloa, tembaso, right effort, right mindfulness. So these two goes with all the other noble paths. Right effort and the right mindfulness inquire whatever we do, the positive engagement, the spiritual practice, dharma, we have to have first right effort. So right effort also require first right view and right intention. And why we call effort? Effort is the essence of right effort, is the mind of interest, mind of inspiration. So whatever we do in our life, first important is our intention. So meaningful intention. or intention connected with the love and compassion, the purposeful intention. So once you have that intention, which is a meaningful, good purpose, wholesome, then whatever you do become more light, more happy. And your job become like holiday. And when you do your job, actually, that helps other people more. And that helps you win-win situation. Almost anything, unless if you are, involved with weapons or drugs or illegal things, all these things cannot. But normally, whatever we do in our life, it's become really happy, healthy, meaningful. Then the effort comes automatically. So if we want to have right effort to become meaningful life, become successful life, first important is intention. We have to think about intention. Then we need to develop interest, inspiration. And this interest and inspiration comes with the, what we call something which is innate, something which is who you are, something which is your inner quality. So what is your inner quality? Awareness, love and compassion, and the wisdom. The more we connected with awareness, love and compassion and wisdom, we will be more happy. We will inspire more. We feel like that is who we are. You can do experiment. Maybe you can do some charity work. If you do charity work, actually you feel really happy. You help others, you feel really satisfied. The dissatisfaction is not there. The suffering, the hollow. But if you follow to the egoistic mind, based on ignorance, aversion, craving, and these three together, then the selfish mind, egoistic mind, what about me? I'm the first, everybody has to lose, and actually, we think this is good for me, right? If you follow that, even you become successful, deeper level, not happy, hollow. Actually, funny, right? The egoistic says, good for you. I'm doing this for you. You are important. And if we follow that, we feel not happy. But then love and compassion says, help others. And if you follow that, we feel happy. Deeper level. And in fact, it's good for you. For long term, we and self and other are interdependent. Now in this world, we all are connected to each other, interdependent. So without other, self cannot exist. So if you treat others well, you are treating yourself well. Otherwise, you are doing like this, Right hand is you, left hand is others, and the right hand tries to destroy the left hand. Both is you, right? It doesn't work. So, effort. So, essence of right effort is the minds of inspiration. And this inspiration comes with meaningful, connected with love, compassion, wisdom, awareness. Then we will inspire more. And next is the mindfulness, right mindfulness. So right mindfulness, you can mindful about the Four Noble Truths. You can mindful about mind, speech, body, life, all this. How to apply in everyday life. These all are mindfulness. So this mindfulness help us maintain all the other noble truth. Engage in everyday life. And special, the mindfulness help us to start the journey of meditation. So mindful meaning be with the reality as it is. For example, if we meditate on the breath, how many of you are learn meditation on the breath? Raise your hand. Okay, almost all of you. Wonderful, very good. So if you meditate on the breath, be with the breath. Thank you. That is the mindfulness. And that mindfulness lead to the samadhi, the last Eightfold Noble Path, which is the meditation. So maybe we will include the short practice of meditation together. So mindfulness awareness is the essence of meditation. So what is the mindfulness? What is awareness? Same thing actually, mindfulness, awareness, same thing. And that meaning knows what you are thinking, what you are feeling, what you are doing. That is the mindfulness. Can you see my hand? How many of you can see my hand? So that is mindfulness. That is awareness. So when I ask you, can you see my hand? In that moment, your eyes and mind both together looking at my hand. That's the mindfulness, that's the awareness. Very easy, one way. Be with whatever reality comes to you, be with that. You don't need to control it. You don't have to block anything out. It's more like you are listening. What reality presenting you, whatever the reality presenting you or telling you, you just listen. Be with that. So now I would like to teach the breathing meditation. So first I have a question for all of you. The question is, how many of you are breathing right now? Raise your hand. Everybody is raising hand, I think. Great. So that is the breathing meditation. Finish. Easy, right? So in that moment, actually, you're mindful on your breath. When I ask you, are you breathing? And you think, yes, of course, I'm breathing now. So your mind and the breath together. So we will do this practice together. This is breathing meditation. Actually very easy. Please keep your spine loosely straight. And please close your eyes. Please feel the body and relax muscles in the body. Now, please to be aware of your breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Natural breath. You don't need to control your breath. Deep breath is okay. Shallow breath is okay. Irregular breath is also okay. Peaceful breath is okay. Not so peaceful breath is okay. Doesn't matter. And then when you are to be aware of breath, there are so many thoughts, feeling, image will come. Bala 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 yada yada yada. Let them come, let them go. If you are still remember your breath, whatever thought comes, it's okay. Don't try to block them away. If you said, I cannot think of anything else, then all the thoughts become more. then you cannot be with your breath. You are busy with the blocking thought and emotions. So actually no need. The essence of meditation is awareness. Awareness meaning be with the breath, knowing the breath, not forgetting the breath. Of course, you will forget again, totally forget about the breath. It's okay. Remember the breath again. Be with the breath. Okay, so now finish. Thank you. And now the first noble path is the wisdom. And then now after that another four, which is the right thought, speech, action, livelihood, is the discipline. And then there's another two, the effort and the mindfulness goes with all the other noble path. And the last samadhi is the meditation. Wisdom, diligence or ethic, and the samadhi. Thank you. So now we will have open for Q&A for 15 minutes.
A really inspiring talk. All we need to do is put it into practice. That's all we have to do.
Thank you.
But there are some talks. The first question here is a very simple one, and that is: do I need to, if I'm practicing, do I need to do it like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, or is it all at one? Is it all one? How do I practice this?
You can start all in one because they all are related to each other. Or among these 8, which one you inspire more, you can begin with that. Let's say maybe through action, okay, don't harm, helping others, and then lead to the wisdom, lead to the meditation also. Or you begin by meditation, mindfulness and samadhi, then lead to the action and the wisdom. Or first study, wisdom, right view, and then lead to the others. It depends on you.
Use your natural inclinations, and you follow that natural thing inside yourself, and you develop that, and then it leads naturally onto the other things. Yes, that's very good. There's a question here. First of all, they thank you very much for a wonderful talk, and then they say, is Buddha nature a natural part of oneself?
Yes. Buddha nature is our true nature, nature of all beings. But Buddha nature is not the kind of like, Buddha nature is emptiness, of course, not exists, not the permanent, not impermanent. So permanent, impermanent is just concept. So Buddha nature is beyond concept. But it's not like one big nature, giant nature connected with all of beings. Also not like that, because it's emptiness. But that is emptiness is not nothing. Buddha nature has clarity, awareness, luminosity. So sometimes not easy to understand at the beginning the Buddha nature itself. But the quality of Buddha nature is in love and compassion and wisdom, awareness. All these are the manifesting within all of us. So that is the quality of the Buddha nature.
Um, and here's one. It's the dedication for other sentient beings before and after meditation practice is essential. And what else can I do? Asks the questioner. What else can we do that contributes to generating the right motivation?
So continued develop right motivation is the need to have right effort. So you have to inspire about the motivation. Might be many different ways to inspire. You can learn, you can develop habit, or maybe develop motivation with the creativity, develop motivation, look for reasons, or develop motivation by meditation with awareness of motivation. So many different ways you can develop.
Yes, there's a very simple question here. Are any of your books in Chinese?
All of them, I think. All of them are in Chinese.
Good. Thank you very much. So whoever that is, they can get them in Chinese. Yes. Thank you very much, Rinpoche. Could you please speak about the jhana concentration in right samadhi?
So jhana concentration, first we have to have an object. So object can be your breath, or object can be with the colors or earth, or object can be with the mental image of the Buddha. So it depends on what kind of meditation you do, and if you practice with the breath. So according to our tradition, the first three stages when we meditate with the breath, the first is what we call waterfall experience, meaning we have a lot of thought, emotion, mind become like all over the place, looks like getting worse, looks like you have more thought and emotion in your mind when you begin to meditate. And what we call that's a good sign of knowing your own mind, and sign of your mind become calm and peace. For example, if you are very busy in the office, you don't see much thought and emotion. Actually, so many thought and emotions there. And after 5 p.m., come back to your home and rest on your bed. Pop up a lot of image, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Now you begin to see thought, why your mind become calm. So that's the first. Then the second is what we call river-like experience. Up and down, but there's consistency. And third, lake without wave. So after lake without wave, your mind, whenever you want to meditate, you are with awareness, you are with the mindfulness, you are with the breath, maybe more than half hour. Then there's some special, sensation comes, kind of bliss, joyful sensation comes entire body. So that is the first kind of like beginning, preliminary of the first samadhi, excess samadhi. Then your breathing meditation become more than 1 hour or 2 hours. Then the first jhana. Then there's following 8 or 9 jhanas after that.
An interesting question here, Rinpoche, and that somebody would like to know about how intention, the mechanism behind intention, I believe, the origin of karma. Well, what is the mechanism? They want to know.
Of course, intention, if we want to have right intention, we need to connect with our innate quality. Love and compassion, wisdom. If we learn more, if we know the nature of reality, and like example, if you want to do something in your life, why you have to do? What the reason? What purpose? If you know that, then you will do easily. If you don't know anything, then there's a lot of fear, blank. And if you do that, it's very difficult. So wisdom is important. And mindful awareness, if you do with the mindfully, also help for the develop the right motivation.
Thank you. Can you say something about mother-child luminosity?
The light, big light and small lights. Big light is mother luminous, I'm just kidding. So luminosity doesn't mean light. There's no light, no color, no shape. It's emptiness. But what we call luminosity, meaning the Buddha nature. So Buddha nature has three qualities. The empty, which is beyond concept. What Buddha said, that when Buddha achieved enlightenment, and Buddha said it's beyond concept, beyond word. So that is the empty. Yet, what Buddha said, luminosity, clarity, can experience. So that's second quality. And these two are one. Then from the one, there's thought, emotion, everything comes. So the Buddha nature is actually mother luminosity, what we call. Meaning that is the fundamental of all of us. And child luminosity, meaning the path, the fourth noble path. The number 4 is path. So begin to recognize our true nature. Begin to recognize nature of all phenomena, our true nature. That wisdom is the child luminosity. So when we fully recognize our true nature, and mother and child become one.
Can you experience samadhi outside of formal meditation?
So normally, samadhi with the jhana is mind inward, absorption. The 5 sensory mind go inward, so you cannot really see here in that moment. But the samadhi, which is connected with the vipassana, of course, you can get everywhere, anytime.
This is a thing that bothers people a lot because they think they have to just do it always in formal meditation, and unless that can be experienced then there's no,
Yes.
anywhere.
Yeah, normally what we call, we can meditate everywhere, anytime, with anything. So that means there's 2 kinds of meditation. Formal meditation, you are fully time dedicated with your meditation. No smartphone, no television, keep silent. Maybe every day, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 hour, whatever, you should do some, establish the formal meditation. Then informal meditation is while you're walking, talking at your workplace, while you're doing physical exercise, while you're cooking, while you're drinking, everywhere, anytime. Just short time. For example, if you practice breathing meditation, maybe half breath, 1 breath. We have, the breath is with us 24 hours, right? So whenever we remember, glimpse of the breath. Now, last question.
Thank you so much for offering this beautiful gathering and the inspiring talk. Can we make a donation to express our gratitude?
Thank you. Yes, thank you. Donation, you can, I have foundation, Tedgar, I think Tedgar Foundation or something. So you can, whatever donation, thank you. You can look there. Thank you very much for all of you, and thank you very much for Buddhist Society to organize this event.
Thank you too, Rinpoche. Thank you so much for coming, and I hope we can see you again sometime in the future. And we wish you every good luck and every good chance for the future, and I hope everything goes really well for you. And thank you so much for a wonderful talk. And the book is available, and we will be reviewing it in our journal.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.